All right, let's start here, 5:30, because this was the picture of Travis Alexander obviously sitting in the shower. We don't know if he's alive or dead, but a minute 44 later, we know he is dead in this photo. So how do we get from here to here? What's your theory? And tell me why you don't believe he was shot first, but was stabbed first.
My theory here, there's one of two ways that we can look at this. Either Travis was down in the shower on the floor, Jodi enters the shower, and over his shoulder begins to stab him in the back. Okay?
Or he could have come right over the top and stabbed him in the front, because that was 3 inches, because he was still in a position of vulnerability. And then with the different wounds he has on his back, because he had 9 stab wounds and a 5 by 6.5 inch area on his back, and also some glancing blows off of his head where he could have been trying to get out of the way of the knife.
That's an excellent point, Mike. And I think the most important thing here is that that group of stabbings is so tight in his back. He has to be in a confined space,
like a shower,
or on the floor where he's in an asymmetrical position where he's able to be dominated. Now, the other theory is that he could have been rotated so he was facing away, hands maybe up. She comes in and begins to attack him from the rear with a knife over and over and over. And he's aware of this. He rotates back around in order to defend himself. And we have defensive wounds on the hand. He grabs the blade. She pulls it out, sticks it in again, pulls it out. And the next time, she nails him right in the chest. Wow, right into the vena cava, major vessel in the heart, and he begins to bleed out internally. Then, at this point in time, he moves from this point over to the sink. Now, we have what's referred to as fine aspirate on the sink. In this area here, you can see this is generated as a result of medium velocity power. He is essentially regurgitating blood onto this area. He's coughing this up. He's spitting blood up, not to mention these other places. He's got blood on his hands. We've got contact areas of blood here.
So how do we end up from here over by the sink to down the hallway?
Well, I think human nature kicks in at this point. He's trying to put as much distance between himself and his attacker at this point. And it's at this point he could probably go no further. Remember, he's been stabbed.
When you say go no further, you mean he's on the ground.
Right,
yeah.
And he's on the ground. He's face down. He can go no further.
He's been stabbed in the back. He's been stabbed in the chest.
Absolutely.
And he's trying to get back to his bedroom, I think, his refuge point.
Exactly.
Trying to get away from her, but he can't because he's dying, basically.
Exactly.
What about the slit throat?
Well, what I think is that she moves in for the kill at this point. She's left-handed, so she's going to cut his throat. She's above him. Remember, she's a tiny woman. The weight of his head, the weight of his neck is going to help facilitate the depth of this cut. And let's keep in mind what was cut. Both his right carotid and his right jugular vein. Man, that was deep.
Exactly. And she came up on him. It wasn't down here. It was right underneath his chest in an upward fashion, Vinny. So when she went ear to ear, the testimony was they couldn't tell, but she's left-handed. That's her strong hand. That's a hand that I think she was going to use. And that cut, the testimony says, was 3 to 4 inches deep.
Absolutely.
Bottom line, guys, we look at the forensic evidence in the hallway, the bathroom. Does it tell you stabbed first or shot first?
For me personally, it tells me he was stabbed first. It was a sharp force injury that started this whole thing in motion. I think the shot comes later.
No doubt in my mind. I totally agree. It was the stab and the slit of the throat and then the gunshot wound.